When a person goes missing, in most cases they're found shortly after, and the mystery is solved. Sometimes missing people are found after an extended search. But in the creepiest missing person cases of all, the individual at the center of the mystery is never found, leaving investigators with unanswered questions. These cases have strange disappearances that have baffled experts for years, as they continue to search for the people who have mysteriously vanished without a trace. Number 5. Crystal Gail Branham Hall was a slight young woman who stood just 5'3". Known by her friends as Red, a single mother of 3, she struggled with addiction, but called her sons every day. On March 3, 2009, she was at home alone in her apartment in Pikeville, Kentucky, when she mysteriously disappeared without a trace. 24-year-old Crystal was on the phone with a friend when she said someone was trying to enter the back door of her apartment. She hung up and was never heard from again. The following day, her personal belongings were found still inside her apartment, including her purse and coat. The lack of evidence has left investigators quite perplexed. Crystal did not own a car, and there was no evidence that she had purchased a bus or plane ticket. Her mysterious disappearance seems to be a possible crime story. If true, Crystal's ex-husband has been suspected, but never officially linked with the creepy missing person case. Crystal's aunt, Myrtle Sue, maintains an active Facebook page for her case, which is unsolved decades later. Anyone with information about Crystal's missing person case should call the Kentucky State Police at 606-433-7711. Number 4. On September 27, 1988, in the middle of the night, a green Dodge drove down a quiet neighborhood in Kansas, Oklahoma, and honked twice. A 60-year-old man named Johnny Ball got into the car and vanished without a trace, leaving behind his wife Betty and their 6 children. Born on June 19, 1928, Johnny shared his name with his father, John Ball. He and Betty were married on February 16, 1949, and were due to celebrate their 40th wedding anniversary just months before his mysterious disappearance. The day before he disappeared, he told his brother-in-law he was coming into some money and if all went well, he would be set for life. Whether or not these events are connected to the mysterious disappearance of Johnny Ball cannot be explained. What happened to Johnny is unknown, and there's another unexplained event that makes this case extra creepy. The day after he went missing, a person came to the Ball family residence while Betty was at work and the children were at school. They took some of Johnny's clothes as well as his puppy. Who this person was remains a mystery, but his family believes that they at least have knowledge of the events leading up to his disappearance, if they're not directly responsible for it. In 2005, case detectives received an anonymous tip that Johnny's missing remains could be found by investigators in a well in southern Delaware County. The sole of a shoe and an empty brown wallet were the only items discovered after an investigation of the potential crime scene. There were no traces of Johnny's remains or any evidence of a crime to help get the mystery solved. Johnny's family had him declared legally deceased in 1996. By then, he had already been a missing person who had not been found for 8 years. If he was still alive today, he would be 93 years old. His creepy missing person case is still open, and anyone with information about what happened to him can call the Delaware County Sheriff's Office at 918-253-4531. Number 3. A missing woman who goes by the nickname Felicia lived in Montgomery County, Maryland, and left her boyfriend's house after an argument in the early morning hours, only to become an unsolved missing person mystery ever since. That was on March 4th of 2002, more than 20 years ago. She was 19 years old and has been missing for more years than her own age at the time of her disappearance. Over 2 decades later, Montgomery County detectives still continue to investigate the mysterious disappearance of the former student at the Rockville, Maryland campus of Montgomery Community College. Felicia lived at home with her mother and stepfather. She also spent a lot of time at the home of her on-again, off-again boyfriend in nearby Laytonsville. It's unknown whether or not Felicia had broken up with her ex-boyfriend when she mysteriously vanished without a trace, but she may have been living or studying with him as friends. The true crime community believes the ex-boyfriend's name was Brady. Whatever the context of their relationship was at the time, Felicia abruptly left his home and went missing ever since. Brady allegedly refused to cooperate with crime investigators. Felicia's parents and her friends believe he may have been involved in his strange disappearance, as he was reportedly obsessive and did not leave her alone after the breakup. Detectives classified her missing person case as suspicious because there was no activity on her credit cards or cell phone, which were signs that something bad could have happened. In 2020, police received an anonymous tip that led them to believe Felicia had passed away. They're not sharing any additional information about this tip. Withholding information from the public is a common tactic often used to verify if a person's story is true. No arrests have been made in her missing person case, and the area surrounding Brady's house where Felicia was last seen has been thoroughly searched with no evidence found. Anyone with information about Felicia's strange disappearance is urged to call the Major Crimes Division of the Montgomery County Police Department at 240-773-5070. Felicia's loved ones also maintain a Facebook page in her honor, where they share information and updates. Number 2. An unsolved missing person case weighing heavily on the hearts of her family is the mysterious disappearance of Verna Marie Richardson. She and her ex-boyfriend, Alexander Smith, left her Fort Myers home together sometime in July of 1990. Verna was watching her 12-year-old granddaughter when Alexander arrived. Verna asked her to go into another room so that she didn't hear what the pair talked about. Verna called her adult son and asked him to come over before leaving the home with Alexander. It's unclear if Verna went with Alexander voluntarily, as she left her insulin behind, a life-saving medication that she needed. The next day is when her missing person case gets creepy. She called a friend, Collect, from a payphone at a hardware store on State Road 70 near Lake Okeechobee, 90 miles east, in a frantic state, saying that Alexander had taken her against her will. He was inside the store buying adult beverages when she called. Verna promised her friend she would call back and hung up, but she never did. A store clerk later recalled seeing Verna walking into the store wearing her nightgown, but police were unable to determine her possible whereabouts from there. Verna's family went to Okeechobee to search for her, but she seemed to have mysteriously vanished without a trace after that chilling final phone call. About a week later, another of her sons spotted Alexander driving Verna's car in Fort Myers. Alexander said Verna was staying at a hotel and offered to lead him to her. When he got on the highway, he wrecked and was arrested for driving under the influence. He was released hours later and provided no further information about Verna's whereabouts. Police didn't have enough evidence to charge him. More than 30 years later, Verna's mysterious disappearance has never been solved. One explanation for this mystery is that Alexander snapped after Verna tried to reconcile with her husband, who she had separated from. Alexander is now in prison on unrelated charges and still refuses to share any information about Verna, whose missing person case remains open. Anyone with information about her strange disappearance is asked to call the Lee County Sheriff's Office at 239-477-1000 to get this cold case solved. Number 1. Skye Burnley's creepy missing person case is full of unanswered questions and witness stories that don't match up. On June 2nd, 2016, Skye Burnley called his grandmother to tell her that he was spending the night at the home of some friends named Travis and Amanda. On the morning of June 3rd, he was seen on a gas station surveillance camera picking up soda and snacks with Travis, Amanda, and their 4-year-old daughter. From then on, everything we know about Skye's last day before she went missing comes from Travis. According to Travis, when he woke up on the morning of June 3rd, he saw his truck had been stolen, and he was pretty sure an acquaintance of his had taken it without permission. Travis, Amanda, and Skye decided to go and find the truck by tracking Travis's missing cell phone, which he had left inside. After stopping at the gas station for snacks, the group, including the missing person-to-be, was caught on home surveillance footage driving down a gravel road that led off into a wooded area. Travis told investigators that when he reached the end of the road, he and Skye got out of the car and went in 2 different directions to look for his truck. After a short search, Travis found the missing truck and returned to the car to tell the other people with him. Since Skye was still missing and the car didn't have AC, Travis drove Amanda and their daughter home before returning to pick Skye up from the woods. It wasn't until 1 a.m. that night, more than 15 hours later, that Travis decided to call 911 and let them know that Skye was missing. During the call, Travis reportedly talked mostly about the truck and the friend that had stolen it, only briefly mentioning Skye. He said that the missing person in the woods was nowhere to be found and that Skye had mysteriously disappeared. After making the 911 call, Travis went to the home of Skye's uncle and left a mysterious note on the door, which read, quote, "Travis, Skye's friend, he's missing. I'm worried something bad has happened." On June 5th, police conducted a massive ground search of the woods to see if this missing person mystery could be solved. With more than 100 people involved, as well as sniffer dogs and horseback searches, no evidence was found. Travis's story was quickly falling apart, and when investigators found the man who took the truck, they also found more evidence that something wasn't right here. The truck thief was an acquaintance of Travis and Skye's, named Matthew McCoy. When questioned, he admitted to police that he, Travis, Amanda, and Skye had been less than sober on the evening of June 2nd, and he had a creepy version of events to tell. Matthew became extremely paranoid and took off with the truck, tossing Travis's cell phone out the window into his yard. If his story is true, then Travis couldn't have used the phone to track his car because it was thrown out shortly after the car was stolen. When police searched Travis's yard, they did find the missing phone exactly where Matthew said it would be found. This poked a hole in Travis's story and left law enforcement experts baffled. How could he have tracked down the missing truck using a phone that was no longer inside? Travis stopped cooperating with investigators when confronted with this evidence. Now treating this case like a crime mystery, police searched the home he lived in with Amanda and arrested the pair on misdemeanor charges of possession. However, they were unable to find any additional crime scene evidence regarding Skye's mysterious disappearance. In their investigation, police learned that Skye may have been involved in a major Mississippi-based gang known as the Simon City Royals. Skye had previously served time for felony possession and had reportedly gotten involved in the gang at that time. His family believes that he was trying to get out of organized crime and even potentially turn information over to the police, actions which may have caused him to go missing and never be found. His unsolved missing person case remains open 6 years later. Police have not generated any additional leads. His family still holds out hope that this unsolved cold case will be solved one day. Even if the missing person is not found alive, they're ready for closure. They maintain a Facebook group called Help Bring Skylar Home Safely, which is regularly updated with memories and posts. Anyone with information about the mysterious disappearance of Joseph Skye Burnley's missing person case should contact the Rankin County Sheriff's Office at 601-825-1480. Anonymous tips can also be submitted by calling Crime Stoppers at 601-355-TIPS. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.